Hello everybody, this will be the last page of notes for this unit. This is page 11, and for this page we're going to be factoring trinomials, but for these problems the a value is going to be greater than 1. So there's an extra step involved. You're still going to use Xbox, but you're also going to have to use factor by grouping, which was page 9 of your notes. So now you're going to combine those two skills to solve or to factor one trinomial. So in order to do this, let's just say, I'm going to use the example that's right here, the 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. You cannot factor out that 2 with a GCF. That cannot happen. So that means that our a value, I'm going to write that right here, the a value for this problem is a 2. The b value is a 5, and the c value is a 3. So here, you're going to multiply the a times the c. So that's what's going on right here. You're going to take 2 times 3 and you're going to get 6. Then you're going to take the b value and put it in the bottom. Now, once you do that, you can't just write the two factors. You have to now factor by grouping. So I'm going to rewrite this problem. 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. Now, when we Xboxed, remember, it's going to be 2 times 3 is 6. That's the a times the c. The b value is 5. Two numbers that multiply to make 6 but add to make 5 are going to be a 2 and a 3. So here's where it gets a little tricky. When you factor by grouping, it must be, you have to have 4 terms. You cannot factor by grouping unless you have 4 terms. This is only 3 terms. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this middle term and we're going to split it into 2 terms. We keep the first term. We're going to keep 2x squared. We're going to keep the last term, which is a positive 3, but instead of having 5x, we're going to use these numbers, 2x and 3x, which add to 5x. So it seems like we're doing the opposite of what we need to be doing, but this is the way we do it. So you take that 5x and you split it into plus 2x plus 3x. So now we have the 4 terms we need in order to factor by grouping. I just forgot what I was going to say. Oh, it doesn't matter what order you write these. I could have written plus 3x plus 2x. I could have switched those around. It doesn't matter. You'll still get the same answer. So now, once we've got our 4 terms, now we can factor by grouping. So as a review of that, you first have to group them. Remember, it's important where you put the parentheses. Factor out the common factor. In this case, it's a 2x. So I'm going to take the 2x out, and I'm going to divide both of these by 2x, which leaves me with an x, and then 2x divided by 2x is a positive 1. So that first binomial here factors into 2x times x plus 1. Now I'm going to go over to this part of it and factor out the 3, a positive 3. And again, it's going to be x plus 1 when I divide that 3 out. Remember, these two binomials in the parentheses must be identical, and they are. So when we go to look at the answer, we take the 2x plus the 3 and make one binomial out of that, and then the x plus 1 is the other binomial. And now it's factored. All right, let me do another example. Let's look at example number 3. So for example number 3, the 6 cannot factor out as a GCF, so we are left with the a value being greater than 1. The a is 6. The b is negative 5, and the c is negative 4. So when I Xbox, I'm going to do it right here. When I Xbox this, 6 times negative 4 is negative 24, and then a -5 goes in the denominator. So now I need two numbers that multiply to 24 but have a difference of 5. I'm thinking that's going to be a 3 and an 8. 3 times 8 equals 24, and then the difference between 3 and 8 is 5. I need one of these to be negative because the product is negative. Now, how do I know which one of these to make negative? I look at the b value. Since the b value is negative, then the bigger number needs to be negative. Because when I add 3 and -8, I need to get a -5. So my 3 is positive, my 8 is negative, and they check out. They're going to multiply to -24, they're going to add to -5. Now, we take the 6y squared, and we go ahead and write it down. Now, instead of writing -5y, we take the 3, that's a positive 3, and say 3y, take the -8 and write -8y. These two together make -5y, but we need it to be 4 terms because we need to factor by grouping. You cannot factor by grouping if you only have 3 terms. And then I'm going to keep that -4. So now that I've got 4 terms, I'm going to factor by grouping. I'm going to factor out a 3y. If I divide 6y squared by 3y, I'm going to get 2y. 3y squared divided by, 3y divided by 3y is a positive 1. Here, remember, if you see a negative sign here, then you must factor out a negative. It looks like I can factor out a -4. So I'm going to write -4. And if I take -8y divided by -4, I do get my positive 2y, which is what you want. And then here, -4 divided by -4 is a positive 1. And now when I go to write the answer, it's 2y plus 1 times 3y minus 4. It doesn't matter what order you write these binomials. This could be the first one if you wanted it to. But anyway, this is factored form. And we used Xbox and factoring by grouping to get that done. So that's a lot of skills all in one. All right, everybody. All the answers are on the answer key. And contact me if you need any extra help. That's the end of page 11.